Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Guys, this is your quick tip of the week. So what I'm going to do is this single function flush valve, I'm going to change it into a dual function, which means it'll have a big flush and a little flush. So with this type of setup, this doesn't have a traditional flapper on a chain. So when you have the handle here and you pull the lever down, it'll lift the flapper. So this is different. This is all integrated into one unit. So for this job, this will be changed out, and then the fill valve over here will stay the same because that doesn't need to be changed out. So with that in mind, we'll do material and tools. All right, this is our material and tools list. So I have my dual flush valve. This one has a tank to bolt kit. That's what this ring here is, and the hardware is here. I'm not going to need it on this job, but throw it off to the side for later when the toilet needs to be serviced. Latex gloves. A pipe wrench. The reason I have a pipe wrench is because I don't have a set of channel locks big enough to get the nut off. Otherwise, I'd use a set of channel lock pliers. And then I do have channel locks, but those channel locks are the biggest that are available. Guys, this is what I need for material and tools on the shop. So let's get started. All right, the first thing to do is shut the water off. And now the toilet needs to be flushed. All right, with the water in the tank now flushed out of the tank can be removed. So first thing that needs to be removed is the water line here, because the whole tank has to be pulled off the bowl. All right, so we'll disconnect the supply. So there are two wing nuts. There's one right here, and then there's one on the other side. I think for the most part they should be just hand tight because it's only going into porcelain. So undo both of the wing nuts, and then the tank can be pulled off. Now with this design, because there's a nut between the tank and the bowl, holding the bolt tight to the tank, no water will be leaking out of it. Alright, so this ring here needs to be taken off, and this is where the pipe wrench is going to come in. Alright, so what we need to do is make sure that the heights are the same for both. So this is the ring that's going to be on the inside. So we're going to compare this to this. So they're the same right now. We look at the very top. You see how much lower this one is than this one. So this one needs to be adjusted. So for this one here, you see the white piece over here, and then I remove the piece over here. So this is the lock. So you take this white piece out, and then the rails, which are here, will go up and down to set the height for the new flush valve. Alright, so for our flush valve, we'll take the ring off. So this is going to go on the inside of the tank. When this sticks through, you're going to tighten this on. Now, because this is all plastic, hand tight should be enough for this. Right, the tank can now be put back on. So make sure the rubber is in the right spot. This toilet's only a few years old, so the rubber is in alright shape. Alright, so we'll put our wing nuts back on. So the plastic washer goes at the top, the metal washer, and then the wing nut will go on the bottom like that. Alright, so get one side hand tight, get the other side on, and then go back and forth. Tighten the right side a little bit, tighten the left side a little bit, until you can't get them any more tight with your hands. You don't need a wrench on this, it's only porcelain. I mean, if you tighten it too much, you can potentially crack the tank, and then you have to go get a new one. Alright, now's the time to make sure that the top here will screw in. This doesn't reach, the threads here doesn't reach, which means the flush valve is too low. So I haven't even connected the water yet, but this is the time to check. Alright, so I had to move this up one level, one notch, whatever you want to call it. So I put the tank back on and I made sure that this would screw on, which it does now. So next is going to be our toilet line. I just hand threaded this, and now I'll tighten it the rest of the way. All right, so this has been tightened on. Take note that this is so tight here. This line should be longer, but I don't have another one in. But this has been tightened on. Give the tank a quick shake, make sure it's nice and solid. Now this can be turned on, and we can fill the toilet. Alright guys, so the parts for this. So this here, this cone, this red cone is the overflow tube. The red ring down here is a lock for this, so you pull the ring out and then you can raise the overflow tube up and down as you need to. Now the fill valve over here, because we're replacing the flush valve here, you may have to reset the fill valve here, and you just do it by spinning this. This is our small flush. It goes about halfway. And our big flush. Okay, so for the adjustment for the big flush and small flush, so we have our buttons here. The buttons need to be sticking up, they're spring loaded. And then you have the two rods down here. If the rod is too far down, that's going to suck the button down with it. So you want to push the two white parts here as high as you can, and then down here is what you want to hook this rod onto. So they give you different lengths for different toilet sizes because they're not all going to be the same. So when it comes to a dual flush toilet, I believe everywhere in Europe they're on a water meter. So by installing one of these dual flush systems, you're going to save money in the long run. These things aren't exactly expensive. I think it worked out to about $20 Canadian. You don't need much tools for it, and you're going to get your money back in no time. Guys, that's your quick tip of the week.